Are coming here with their families.
Yeah.
Some people are coming here alone. Some people are coming here with this idea about this place, and it's not always true.
Right.
People think there's this kumbaya, love, synergy relationship going on here. It's not the case. You're going to come here, you're going to be alone.
Yeah.
You're going to have nobody that's going to go and pick you up without asking you for some money.
Yeah.
You're going to have a situation where you go down the street, you're going to be most likely taken advantage of in some way.
Yeah. But
This man said, in Tanzania, it's okay to lie if you get business.
what?
I said, when is it
know.
okay to lie to get, like, and he meant it. He didn't
Yeah.
even mean on a large scale.
Right.
Because I asked him, can you know, have somebody on the street that looks like they can pay more or just looks like they don't know what they're doing? Charge them more.
If you want to come to Africa, you should come with enough reserve of money that will be able to support your life here. Some people, when they come to Tanzania, they just come like that. You need to have something to help your life, something to aid your existence in the Republic of Tanzania, because this is Africa. It's different from America. In Africa, we don't have that government helping the needy people. Yeah, we don't have that in Africa. So in Africa, when you go broke, it's a very, very bad thing. When you go broke, it's a very, very bad thing. And this woman was trying to encourage people to come with something. So back on today's video, this guy, our fellow brother, Mark Meets Africa, is going to reveal some important information. And in this information, I realized one thing. Some black Americans, when they live in Tanzania, they are afraid to say some things. They are afraid to tell the challenges that they are experiencing in Tanzania in fear of being banished by the people of the Republic of Tanzania. I understand this. I cannot go to a visitor's house and then I start saying the negative things. I will keep quiet. I won't say, because I'm welcomed there. I'm a guest there. I don't have the authority to speak. Perhaps that's the thing they think. So today, I noticed that there's some very, very valuable information they were sharing about their hard experiences in Tanzania. First of all, the authorities in Tanzania. That was the first thing. The second thing is the cost of living in Tanzania. The third thing is the way of living and the traditions and the culture. See, America is different from Africa. As simple as this statement might look, some black Americans don't realize this, and it's becoming a headache. It's really becoming a headache to them when they come here. When you go to Rome, be like the Romans do. Don't change the ways of Rome and everything. You do as the Romans do. So when you come to Africa, the first thing, do as the Africans do. And here's my advice to you before we jump to the video. Here's my advice to you. Before you come to settle in a country, first come and visit. Come and visit first. Visit, have a tour, come with the perspective of somebody who wants to come and live. Don't come with the perspective of a tourist. When you come with the perspective of a tourist, your judgment will be clouded by the good things you will see around you. So you will be shutting off your brain to some important information. So it's good that you explore different countries. For example, if you come to East Africa, maybe you start with Tanzania. You can spend a week maybe in Tanzania, another week in Kenya, another week in Rwanda, another week in Uganda. These might be expensive for a short term, but what's really expensive is living in a country that is expensive for you, that you can't survive in. That's really expensive.
People are coming here with their families.
Yeah.
Some people are coming here alone. Some people are coming here with this idea about this place, and it's not always true. Your brothers and sisters here, they're not together themselves. How can they help you? I'm not saying this is the end-all, be-all case all the time, but this is the common scenario. This is the reality. We cannot let people come here with a false belief of what's here. It's not fair to the mothers with single mothers with the children coming here, because that's a big majority of people coming here are single mothers.
Yeah.
It's not fair to the elderly people coming here alone. It's not fair to the people who sold their houses to come here. It's not fair to any of them, because they're coming here with this idea that everything's okay. Yeah. Oh, they're building for us. We gonna get over there and They gonna give us a plot of land and all this crazy stuff. No, you're gonna get here. You're gonna have to leave every 3 months until you figure out how to work it out. You're gonna have to figure out how to do business in a country where business doesn't always work well. You're gonna have to figure out a lot of things because there's no pathway here. If they say Tanzania is the wilderness, then you gotta act like it's the wilderness. There's no trail for you to follow. You make the trail.
Yeah.
The people coming are pioneers. They're coming to dust off the ground, clear the bush, and build the trail. There's nobody that's going to hold your hand and say, let's go this way and let's do that and let's go do that. And the person that does that is going to be a very wealthy person.
Yeah.
Because right now, people are coming here to survive.
Yeah.
And they're getting here and they're trying to survive. There's people, we spoke about this yesterday as well,
Yeah.
who are here asking for money for groceries every week.
Wow.
They're not even here legally sometimes.
Yeah, I definitely know some that are definitely not here legally and were asking me, you know, advice on how. I'm like, I did not know. Right.
People think there's this kumbaya, love, synergy relationship going on here. It's not the case. You're going to come here. You're going to be alone.
Yeah.
You're going to have nobody that's going to go and pick you up without asking you for some money.
Yeah.
You're going to have a situation where you go down the street. You're going to be most likely taken advantage of in some way.
Hi, good people. So I had a lot of thoughts while about to create this video, because yesterday I just did a video about why African Americans are leaving Ghana and are moving to Kenya. Yes, facts are there. African Americans are leaving Ghana and are moving to Kenya. So there was divided attention about this video. Some African Americans were happy about this fact. Some African Americans were not happy, but Ghanaians themselves, I understand, they were not happy about this. One thing you need to know, this video are here to help African Americans, because you are my audience. I'm just here to speak the truth. I'm not here to say one country is bad and another country is better than the other. No. Even Kenya itself, it has its own problems. That was for yesterday. Let's get to today. Today I want us to talk about mistakes. The mistakes, very costly mistakes that African Americans are making when they come to Africa. So I'm going to use 3 countries as a reference. I'm going to use the country of Tanzania, I'm going to use the country of Kenya, and I'm going to use the Republic of Ghana. Yes, I owe it so much to Ghana. African Americans owe it so much to Ghana because they have contributed the most. Ghana is the first country, as I always say, the first which acknowledged that indeed there was slave trade. They acknowledged that indeed African Americans need to be paid. It is the country which acknowledged that African Americans belong in Ghana, in Africa. They acknowledged that slave trade took place in their country. So much respect I have for Ghana, for what it has done. No countries in Africa can be compared to Ghana. That's it. Now, in these things we are going to discuss the mistakes African Americans are making in Ghana, in Tanzania, and in where also, and in Kenya. These mistakes are very costly. You see, there are these misconceptions about Africa, that Africa there is free land, Africa there is free food, Africa there is this and that. To my surprise, or to your surprise, you'll be surprised that some African Americans are leaving USA and they're coming to Kenya, they're coming to Uganda, they're coming to Tanzania. Then they start begging. They're begging fellow African Americans, they're begging Africans in the continent, and I'm wondering, like, why? Why is African American begging in Africa?
It's just many of us come here and we're middle class. Some of us lower class, and we don't have a lot of money, so it's just very pricey to live here long term.
There's a mistake they're causing because I just don't understand why this is happening. You guys should do your research before you get your foot into Africa. Do your research, check on things that you're supposed to be doing. Check. always double check. Don't trust all YouTubers. Don't trust them. Not all of them. Do your research as well. Now here, we are going to look at 3 countries. And we are going to start with Tanzania, okay? The first mistake African Americans are causing when they come to Africa is overestimating economic opportunities. So they're just overestimating, saying Africa is free, Africa is that, Africa is that. But no, yeah, Africa is a cheaper country compared to USA, but not free. There's a difference between cheap and free. There are no free lands in Africa. We don't have free lands in Africa. We don't have that. Only if the government states that it's going to give you free land, that is when you can count there is free land. But without the government stating that, there is no free land. And this is a mistake that is happening in Tanzania. So, overconfidence in the perceived wealth of opportunities can lead to hasty decisions, such as quitting a stable job in the USA to chase dreams of wealth in Tanzania. So because you had in Africa, we have mines and we have gold and we have copper and we have uranium. So you just leave your job, your good job, and you rush. You come to Africa. You shouldn't do that. Enjoy your job. When it's time for you to retire, at least that is good. You're old enough. You can rest, because many people I see are doing that. Even white people are coming to find. They're coming to retire here in Africa, which is something I really, really like. But do your research. Do your research. At least don't leave your job coming to Africa thinking that you will find another job before doing your research. No, don't do that. So what impact does this overestimation of economic opportunities can lead? It can lead to this. When the expected economic success doesn't materialize as swiftly as you thought, hey, it's going to go fast, or in 5 days I'll be having my job. What if it does not? The financial strain and disillusionment can cause individuals to question their decision to stay in Tanzania in this case, because there's so much. Just do your research. When you are told that you'll come to find a job and then you miss that job, even if it's me myself, I'll just leave. But when I'm ready, I will return. That is what I will do. You see? So we have the second one, which is currency exchange risks. Currency exchange risks. Always, always, always keep this in mind. Evans from Kenya is telling you this. Do not exchange your money at the border. Do not exchange your money at the airport. There we have con men. We have con artists there. Do not do that. Here's what you should consider. The mistake African Americans make is failure to consider the risk associated with currency exchange can lead to substantial financial losses due to fluctuation in the Tanzanian shilling. Tanzanian shilling is one of the weakest. Is one of the weakest monetary in East Africa. It's weak. Actually, the Kenyan one, the Kenyan shilling is stronger in the whole of Eastern Africa. So it always fluctuates. It always fluctuates. Don't have a lot of Tanzanian shillings, and then when you go to exchange, you are left with nothing. Or rather, don't have. It's better you have more of the USD, which is the national world reserve currency, other than having the Tanzanian shillings, because it always fluctuates against the dollar. It always goes down against the euro. It always goes down against the pound, the Kuwait dinar, and all. This is something you have to consider. Do not exchange your money at the airport. Do not exchange your money at the borders. Don't have a lot of Tanzanian shillings. Do not do that. It's better you have your money in the US dollar format. Just have your money in the US dollar. That is the way to go. Then we have the impact this can lead. These losses can erode savings, investments, and purchasing power, forcing individuals to rethink their financial stability and future prospects. Once I realized I was holding a lot of Tanzanian Kenya shillings, the next day it's fallen. What do I think? Maybe I had planned I'm going to use this money for a fixed amount of time. I'm never going to do that. You see, I'm never ever going to do that. So the third one, we have real estate pitfalls. Real estate, you're told Africa, real estate, because now everything is about real estate. Invest in real estate. Robert Kiyosaki is telling you, reinvest in real estate. But not everything is to be invested in real estate. Here is why. The mistake African Americans make in Tanzania is this. In the pursuit of financial success, some black Americans may invest in Tanzanian real estate without adequate research. Maybe the real estate in Tanzania ain't that profitable, but because somebody told you you do that, you are just doing without doing your due diligence. You always have to do your due diligence before and always. Always know what you are getting into. Don't do something because the mass is doing it. When you follow the mass, it's time you stand and look at your back. What's there behind you? What's there behind you? If you can't see it clearly, then you are in the wrong path. Your back should be clear as well as your front. Real estate transaction can go in the wrong direction due to issues like land disputes and property value fluctuation, which can result in substantial financial setbacks. You see, ultimately influencing the decision to return to the USA. These are just some of the reasons and some of the problems that are making African Americans leave Tanzania, or rather Africa, back to their countries. You see? Now, we are going to look at the fourth reason, or the fourth mistake African Americans are making in Tanzania. Here is the fourth one. Cultural and social adjustment challenges. You see, USA is not Africa, and Africa is not USA. Africa, we always have our own values and our own everything. That will never change, and it can never ever change. You see, because we are Africans. Here is something to consider, the mistake African Americans make. Understanding the importance of adapting to local cultural norms can lead to social isolation and difficulties in building meaningful connection. Try, when you know that you're moving to Kenya, try and at least learn some languages. Like Tanzania people speak Swahili. Try and learn some Swahili. This language will help you to discover things about the country. You see, you'll be able to transact, you'll be able to do business, you'll be able to talk with your neighbors. You'll be able to communicate like their culture. When they dress in a certain way, try and learn how to dress in that way. Just follow their culture. That way you won't feel isolated, because it is you who is coming to Africa. Africa is not coming to you, you see? Now, the impact this can cause. The isolation coupled with struggle to fit into a new cultural context can affect job opportunities and subsequently financial stability, increasing the likelihood of returning to the USA. All these four things are major factors that black Americans are making when they move to Tanzania. These were for Tanzania, okay? Now we are moving to Ghana. We're moving to Ghana, then Kenya. So, guys, chill. I'm going to say the truth. I'm not against Ghana. I'm just speaking the truth for what it is. Ghana. First mistake African Americans make there is this: overconfidence in entrepreneurial ventures, or overconfidence in business opportunities. My teacher always told me that never ever be overconfident. Just be confident, but never ever be overconfident, because things always change, varieties always change, variables always change, you see? So never ever be overconfident. This is what my teacher used to tell me. So how does overconfidence and how does this overconfidence in entrepreneurial venture become a mistake? Here is why. The first mistake is this: the vibrant entrepreneurial scene in Ghana can lead some to overestimate their abilities, underestimate the complexity of local business regulation. As you've heard in that video, Brother Mark told us that people should always try and work towards learning, research. Don't just be lazy. Do your research, learn something at least. Identify that there is a learning process. Identify that there's an adopting process. You see? When you learn, you avoid mistakes. It's so easy, it's so easy. Now, you can be told that starting a business in Ghana is easy. You just need a few amounts of cash. But these people are not telling you everything. For example, in Kenya, if you want to start a business in Nairobi CBD, you need something. You need the rent plus a 2-month deposit. You need something called a goodwill. You need business permit. You need to have a KRA pin. You need to have to pay somebody who is taking care of that place, like a watchman. You need to do all these. And also there are some random things which just come up. The government always changes things. Today, the business permit costs this, tomorrow it costs this, tomorrow the land, it always changes. That thing which seems simple might turn out to be the hardest thing for you. Trust me and take it from me. So how does this overconfidence impact African Americans? Overconfidence in entrepreneurial ventures can result in business failures. We've had cases where African Americans started businesses in Ghana, in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Gambia, but the business turned out to be a failure, you see? Financial losses can also occur, and subsequently, a choice to return to the USA for more favorable business conditions. But USA is not good for you. That is why you left after all. We are not going back to USA. We are leaving USA. We are not going back there. We've refused. We are moving here. Just watch this video and watch it again. And kindly share. Share this video to spread your awareness and to spread the awareness to other African brothers and sisters. So the second mistake African Americans make in Ghana is this: unexpected cost of education and healthcare. Ghana is very, very expensive. Ghana is very expensive. This one you are never ever told. Many YouTubers don't talk about this. Many experts don't talk about this because they are afraid to talk. Ghana is way more expensive than these countries I've stated. Mistake. Underestimating the cost of education and healthcare for families with the children can lead to financial stress. It's obvious, it's obvious, it's obvious. Choose a country that is favorable to you. And if you want healthcare and if you want a good education and good healthcare, of course you need to invest the money. But at least have some reserve. Do your research and you learn things. Don't just say, Africa things are cheap. I'll just go there and have a cheap doctor, and the cheap doctor will take care of me, and the cheap doctor will, and also will get a cheap teacher. The cheap teacher will take care of me. No, no, no. What you need to do is do your research. Ghana is very, very expensive African city. I'm telling you. So how does this impact African Americans? Struggling to meet these high expenses can strain finances, prompting a return to the United States of America, where there may be more affordable and reliable education and healthcare options. All these mistakes African Americans are making them, and they're ending up moving to Babylon. We don't want that to happen. At least I'm making some effort to try and discuss with you these things, and I hope you respect my time also and you pay attention to what I'm telling you. So the third one, which is very, very common mistake, is the year of return initiative expectations. Just because the president of Ghana announced that in 2019 there was a year of return, people overestimated, people put over expectations on this initiative. The other day we saw the girls who were whining, they were shaking their backs to the ancestors in the Cape Coast Castle. That is very, very disrespectful. And if Ghanaians come to learn about such things, they can try and chase you away from their land. You don't wanna be chased away by someone. So just learn and adapt. You see? Okay. The mistake African Americans make according to this year of return expectation is this: the year of return initiative raised expectation for swift economic success and a sense of belonging. I understand the hype. Let's go, let's do this, Africa that. Yeah. I know this video is not easy to watch, but it's important you listen to this. So how does this impact African Americans? Unrealistic expectations can lead to disappointment when individuals realize that the journey to financial stability in Ghana is more challenging than anticipated, pushing them forward toward a return to the USA. In Africa, you'll be conned. In Africa, you'll be whipped. In Africa, you'll be robbed. But if you pay attention to whatever I'm telling you, if you pay attention to everything that is happening, you will avoid this. You will avoid this. But if you just come with your head, there's going to be a challenge. There's really going to be a challenge. So the third country, I'm moving back to Kenya. Kenya right now, where I'm recording this video. Here also African Americans are making mistakes, but we have to talk about them. The first one is inadequate understanding of economic challenges. The first one, the mistake here is this: misjudging the Kenyan markets, regulatory complexities, and competition. This can lead to a sense of inadequacy. You are misjudging and miscalculating. Always underestimating. Actually, the thing here is underestimation, and over-expectation, you see? The impact of inadequate understanding of economic challenges in Kenya is this: business setbacks, economic instability, and mounting debts can cause African Americans to consider moving back to USA, where they may have a better understanding of the business landscape. You see? This is something also. Number two, we have currency exchange risks. The other day you saw Kenya just hit 150 Kenya shillings against the US dollar. That is historical. The US dollar, the Kenyan shillings has never been 150 against the US dollar. It is historic and very memorable. This is something you need to consider. It's the same one as that of Tanzania. The mistake here is this: neglecting to manage currency exchange risk can lead to financial insecurity. The impact is this: currency fluctuation can undermine savings and investments, creating financial difficulties that can make a return to the USA seem more appealing for stability. Sometimes when you are used so much to abusing, it becomes your normal thing, in a way that if you are taken to a different environment where things are not as bad as that place, you might be tempted to think the other place is better than this place. I'm talking about Africa and the USA. So we have education and healthcare cost. Mistake is this: underestimating the cost of private education, healthcare can lead to financial strain, particularly for families. That's obvious. Impact: the stress of coping with the high education and healthcare expense can drive families to consider a return to the USA for more affordable and accessible services. You see? Another thing is legal and regulatory hurdles. If you come to Kenya, kindly try to be well with the legal matters. Just be in the line with the legal matters of Africa, of Kenya. Many African Americans, some have been deported, I've heard so. Some have been sent back to their countries for behaving badly because they didn't want to follow up with the legal processes. You see? Lack of understanding of Kenya's regulatory environment can be risky to an African American. You see? This can lead to business difficulties, financial setbacks, and the decision to return for a more favorable regulatory landscape into the United States of America. So that's everything about this video. That's it. I don't have more to say until tomorrow, when you will get another new video when we will discuss Matters Africa, Things Africa. This is EFK Original Documentaries. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.